Welcome to the first episode of the ALSET podcast. I'm your host, Kamaar Arnett, and I am really excited to be with you today. I am coming to you from the land of innovation, artificial intelligence, and energy storage. I say great awakening to all. This is a vibration check. One of the things that I really wanted to speak to you guys about today was, of course, Tesla, right? Since May of 2020, I've really been talking about Tesla every single day. And to me, Tesla embodies a person's ability to see forward, right? What does the future look like? So this channel to me is about understanding where we've come from, right? And then understanding where we're going. And in order to be successful in the stock market, you have to understand that once everyone can see something, then you're too late, right? And it's really interesting. I've heard, a couple analysts, Gene Muster, who I really respect.
I think that's just prudent business. I think it's a sign that Elon is kind of evolving. Yes, they need to keep their costs down, but I think the bigger picture is, we talked about Tesla almost as an IPO stock this year. I don't need to frame in the significance that they're having on the EV market. I think what is important to note, this is outside of the cost equation. What is important to note is the Tesla story is going to evolve in the months and years to come. And specifically, they're not just going to be a car company. They're really going to take their tech that they're defining and pioneering with auto and applying it to markets. This is a big deal.
And I would consider him a Tesla bull, right? Which means he's positive about the stock. He believed that Tesla stock is going to continue to increase month over month and year over year. But one of the things that he spoke about, I want to say about a month ago, but now this has been in the news more so recently, is Apple being the biggest threat to Tesla's dominance in the EV space.
When you think about a segment, take for example insurance. Elon has recently said that there's 30 to 40% of the value of the car could be in insurance. What that means is that they can start offering their own insurance and improve margins. That's high margin revenue, not to mention everything they're doing around over-the-air updates with autonomy and what they can even do around HVAC. And I'm going to lose a lot of credibility when you hear what I'm going to say next, but I believe that this is actually on Tesla's roadmap as a flying taxi. And I think when I would not put any investing, I would not invest in Tesla based on that, but the concept that this company is going to continue to evolve and be a tech leader in the next decade, I'm on board with that.
Apple's share price has taken a jump, a bump, just off the announcement that Apple was going to get into electric cars. And to me, this is mind boggling, right? So let's think about this for a second. In 2018, Elon Musk reached out to Tim Cook to try to get Apple to either invest or acquire Tesla. And Tim Cook didn't take the phone call, right? And I believe the price at that time was $65 billion. And Tim Cook thought that was too expensive. Fast forward to today, right? January of 2019. And by the time this airs, we may be in February. So let's just say fast forward to February 2021. And Tesla has an $800 billion valuation. I believe that that is the biggest mistake in Apple's history, maybe outside of letting Steve Jobs go. Back in the, I believe that was the 80s. So having an opportunity to get the next Steve Jobs or this generation Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, I'd have to say Tim Cook fumbled, right? So much so that many people, I read a book called Insanely Simple. Many people truly believe that the Tesla vehicle is an iPhone on wheels, right? So at this point, Apple coming out with an Apple car is too late. The Apple car already exists. It's called a Tesla.
Does Apple's presumed entry into this market spell real trouble for Tesla and its stock price?
Tyler, before I get into that, I need to start with a public service announcement. I've been famously wrong at predicting one Apple product in the past, which was Apple TV, and I learned a valuable lesson. And that's what Apple is working on doesn't necessarily mean that that product is going to see the light of day. And I'm reminded of that lesson over the last 24 hours. So let's start from that point and then get to your question about the impact on the market. Do I think that Apple eventually will have a car? The answer is I don't know if they'll have a car or some other play in the autonomous space, whether it's a software and a licensing model. I do believe that with the 7 years of work that they've put into this, along with this massive addressable market that Josh outlined, this $2 trillion market, I do believe that the company is going to pursue and eventually have something there. So the timing of this is difficult to predict. The magnitude is measurable. Just one last thought on this, Tyler, is that this $2 trillion market, Apple's revenue next year is probably going to be $315 billion. This is big enough for Apple to move the needle. And I'm going to go all the way back to your question here. What does it mean for the automotive industry, for Tesla, for the broader traditional OEMs? And it is certainly trouble for traditional automakers. And Tesla, it's going to be the tale of two stories. One is the fundamentals of the company, and second, the stock. I think it's going to have two different reactions.
I think that's part one, right? Now, part two of this is what I truly believe is not that Tesla investors or Tesla itself should be concerned or worried about Apple getting into the EV space. I truly believe that Apple should be concerned about Tesla getting into the phone space. Not only do I think Apple should be concerned about it, I truly believe that Tesla should do it, right? When we start to talk about ecosystems and, from Amazon to Microsoft to Apple, right? All of these, companies that create all of these things so that something can consumers can exist in their ecosystem and kind of stay in there, right? So you got the iPhone, you got the MacBook, you got the iPad, right? You've got the AirPods, right? You've got all of these things to try to make a person stay within that ecosystem, right? Microsoft, you got the PC, you've got Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, right? All of these things that are designed to make the consumer stay within that ecosystem. I truly believe that Tesla should go into the phone space, maybe even the computer space, the iPod space. But here's why I say this, right? So the big advantage or the big opportunity for Tesla, the cars is one thing, but a lot of people are, valuation is based on Tesla being a software company, an energy company. I believe it's an energy company first, software, artificial intelligence second, cars just kind of being a vehicle, for the energy, for the artificial intelligence and software, right? But let's think about this for a second. One of the big reasons for the $800 billion valuation for a Tesla is that people see it as a software company and they think that there's an opportunity once the cars are autonomous and there's no need for a steering wheel and you're in a Tesla. And what's actually happening now is that you don't have to drive, you don't have to be concerned about the road. So you can watch TV, you can watch videos, you can play video games, right? So everything from Netflix, to Amazon Prime, right? All of these things are going to actually be available to you in the vehicle. So that brings up the discussion or the decision about a Tesla App Store.
I think that they can do that. I think there is a dynamic at play here that is, it's not a fun one to talk about, but I think that this weighs on Apple's decision about what the go-to-market is. And I think that is that cars can be dangerous. It is something that the tech companies grab headlines when bad things happen in cars.
My challenge or my concern here is if people are already on their phones. So when you take the steering wheel or the responsibility for driving out of the Tesla, does this mean that a person is just going to get onto the big screen and stream a movie or start to play video games? Or is the person more inclined or more likely to continue to do that task on the phone? I don't know the answer to that. Some people, when they go into the house, they continue to do things from their phone. Some people turn on the TV, some people get on the MacBook, some people get on the iPod, right? But if I'm Tesla, and as a Tesla investor, shareholder, like I am, an extreme Tesla bull, why not get into the phone space so that now that ecosystem for Tesla expands, right? Like, I understand Elon's doing Neuralink, and my buddy, one of the guys that kind of inspired me to do this, Stephen Mark Ryan from Solving the Money Problem, believes that Neuralinks will make the iPhone obsolete. And I get that. And I agree with Stephen Mark Ryan probably on 99% of the things that he says about investing. Heck, once again, he's one of the guys that inspired me and I go to for, advice in regard to Tesla. But how far away is Neuralink, right? That's the question. How soon would that happen? If I'm Tesla, let's create an app store, right? I think that just makes the most sense. But I also think, why not have a Tesla phone? And I get it, right? Elon is such a tremendous innovator, right? He's light years in the future that, he probably thinks, phones and things like that are, last year, old news, more Flintstones than Jetsons, right? I get that. But at the same time, as you build an ecosystem, as you want people to take advantage of the ability to stream, the ability to play video games when they're in a autonomous car with no driver, why not continue to have the consumer, the Tesla fans, allow them to exist in our ecosystem by creating phones and creating watches, right? So to me, that makes the most sense. And if I'm Apple, I'm scared to death that Elon, who is the greatest engineer alive right now, I believe is the reincarnation of John Galt, right? I truly believe that. Why not give him an opportunity at phones, right? Could you imagine what a Tesla phone would be like? Exactly. So I think that makes sense. I would argue that Apple should be much more afraid of Elon and Tesla getting into the phone space as opposed to any of us being concerned about Apple getting into the car space or the EV space, right? Now, do I think there's an opportunity for Tesla and Apple to collaborate? I've always thought that should have been what happened anyway. I definitely think there's areas with the App Store, with Apple's iOS, that could accelerate, make Tesla's software more user-friendly, give Apple a chance to get into all the cars, give Tesla an opportunity to, be a part of that Apple ecosystem. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. But whether it's ego, whether it's pride, like, I don't know what it is, but, Elon has entertained, thought about, wanted to collaborate with Apple. It was Tim Cook who, made the decision to, not take Elon's call. So that's something that I'm not hearing a lot in terms of Tesla's phone. Like I've heard about the watch, and I believe Elon shut it down. But to me, the phone makes so much sense, especially because we want to make sure that when people get into that Tesla, they maximize the, I guess, the utility, right? You don't want people to necessarily get in the car and they're on their phones, right? You want them to take advantage of the software, take advantage of, the ability to play games, right? Um, I think that's a tremendous opportunity for Tesla. I think it's a tremendous opportunity for the consumer. But I think if, Tesla creates phones, then once again, we minimize the risk of people being in a Tesla vehicle, and not taking advantage of the software, not taking advantage of the innovation, and just using the phone. And I think from an Apple standpoint, not collaborating with Tesla puts you much further behind in the pursuit of being part of this, EV acceleration. All right. Um, First episode, really wanted to get that out. I love living on this earth. I appreciate everyone that's tuned into this episode. I believe the future is extremely bright. And as I always say, reach for the best within us. See you guys on the next episode.